The following is a special presentation of Tony Kurre Radio.
They're popping up on my.
I know you.
They're popping up on my.
I know you got to get off.
I'm not on it.
Get off your horse sites. That's
I'm
why
not.
you got so many people with boob pictures.
No, it's when Elon took over. All of a sudden,
Trump is back and all the boobs are back.
I can't even get the news on like nothing. It's all.
You know what it is?
What is it? Is it because I'm thinking about it?
No, it's your new face. You're brown. You look good. You just got back from the Caribbean. You're all nice and warm and brown.
And that's why I'm.
And the women are crazy for you, dude. They're on your Instagram. They're like, "Who is this guy? This mental? What's it called? You're in mental
drive.
Mental drive. Get on mental drive."
But like, I'm getting things like God is never late. He's always on time. And then there's pictures of soap operas.
Yes.
What is happening?
God is always on time. It's on God's time. Exactly.
Here, look at this one. I don't want a nicer body for men. I want a nicer body so I can sit in my room alone and look at it.
I'm getting this thing.
What? But like, I'm not. These are not people I'm following.
I know.
Why is it happening?
I get this thing from this. I don't even want to say her name. She's got big boobs. She's got 77,000 followers.
But you're not following her.
I'm not following.
And you're getting her on Twitter.
And it just keeps coming up in my notifications.
Yes.
And she'll send out something like, wow, this drop of sweat, coming off my brow, dripping onto my cleavage is really bothering me today. And of course, every creep in the world is responding to it. And she's getting like 1,000 retweets on this stuff. And I'm like, and it's only because she looks good. And I'm like, that just drives me crazy.
Why is she popping up now?
I don't know. And I'm getting stuff from Holly Saunders. You know who Holly Saunders is?
Yes. Yeah.
She's just gone total Slutsville. Yeah. I mean, She posted a picture and she got a new camera and she's topless and she's holding her hands over and she's like, I got this new camera, what should I shoot first? Well, you can only imagine. It's like, so this is perfect because we're going to talk about this today.
We are.
Do you know who Olivia Dunn is?
No.
She is a 20-something gymnast. She's a junior at LSU.
Okay.
And she has now raised over $3 million in NIL deals for her likeness, and it's her likeness and her image. I don't know if she's good on the mats at all,
right?
But she's incredibly attractive, and she posts pictures on Instagram. She's got 2.3 million followers on TikTok. She's posting all these videos of her in scantily clad stuff. Well, there are several women who are saying we're taking a huge step back in women's athletics by you sexing up the entire athletic. So yeah, I know, right? So I'm kind of like, here we go. So we'll talk about that coming up in a few minutes. 1 week till Thanksgiving. We're going to be on Fox 6 a little bit later on this morning. I'm not sure what we're talking about. I'm hoping we're going to talk about sports washing because I think it's really interesting. We have the World Cup starting on Sunday. I'm going to give you a World Cup tutorial.
Thank you. You?
Yeah.
You hate soccer.
Well, it goes on for almost a month.
I know.
December 18th is when it ends. I'm not going to go that far. So this will be our last Thursday on Fox 6 for a few weeks because they're your home of the World Cup. By the way, the United States starts on Monday at 1 o'clock. They're taking on Wales.
Okay, we have a chance.
And then they play England, and then it's just, and we're just the thing, the United States plays Iran on the 29th. That's their 3 matches. So we'll talk about that. Also, is being sexy in sports a step back? We'll talk about that.
God, that's a good one.
Pete strikes again.
Pete Davidson?
Mm-hmm.
What did he do? I saw it's on my Twitter feed, but then it won't say what he did.
Emily Ratajkowski. He's now with Emily Ratajkowski.
Oh, that's right.
Smoking hot.
Yes.
They were seen last night. Yeah. Let me ask you something.
Yes.
They were seen last night wearing the same clothes.
Wait,
he does that a lot with people.
She had a sheer top.
Last night they were seen with the same pair of khaki pants, the same jacket, the same shirt, the same glasses, and they were out together kissing and hugging and doing something. Is that a thing where people
twinsies?
Bruce Willis did it with his ex. Remember when they all put the same pajamas on? But that was a little different.
Yeah.
He did it with Kim several times. And also last night was Pete's first appearance on the Kardashians. After all that stuff they went through, it finally got edited. And it's right before the Met Gala, right before she.
That's so weird because.
And she looks at him. She goes, "You're so effing handsome." And then she invites him to take a shower with her, and he drops his phone and runs into the shower with her. And then a day later, we find out that he's now dating Emily Ratajkowski. The timing is very precarious.
Pete's got something going on.
Plus, if you could read my mind.
Did Kurre Michael? He's dead.
No, he's alive. He's on tour. He's touring in Fort Lauderdale next week. He's 84 years old.
I was just going to say he's got to be pushing 90.
When my dad passed away.
Yeah. Oh, did they play that song?
I was driving up to Cincinnati to see my dad, and that song came on the radio.
Oh, God.
And,
you don't know.
And that song's not about death or anything, but it's just like...
It's a timestamp. It's a timestamp song.
And every time I hear it, I think of my dad, and
Yeah.
it makes me happy. But man, and then I listened to it like 35 times in a row to the point where I wanted to sing along with it. I can remember driving through Malfunction Junction in Cincinnati, the tri-state area, listening to that song at 3 o'clock in the morning, just crying my eyes off. But he turns 84 today. Danny DeVito also turns 78 today. I love Danny DeVito.
I would have thought he'd be dead by now.
Danny DeVito?
Yeah.
Why, it's because he's short? He's got some kind of short thing going?
No, he's fat. I mean, he just look.
He's great in those Jersey Mike commercials.
Yeah, no, I know. He just doesn't look. He's always looked not healthy.
Yeah.
Well, maybe he's got good genes.
Yeah. He was great, though, man.
Nah, Danny DeVito's
He's so good in Taxi.
Yeah.
He's been in so many great shows. I saw the Friends episode where he was the male police officer stripper, which he was fantastic in.
He'd be a good press secretary for Donald Trump.
Yeah, he would be. All right, so I don't want to bore you. Do you want to get in the World Games? Do you want to do the World Games at the end? Because some people may not care about the World Games.
World Games or World Cup?
World Cup, I'm sorry. World Cup, World Games, whatever.
If you say World Cup, you're going to lose half of your
Let's get into it. So here's your tutorial on the World Cup.
Yeah.
By the way, Qatar is 6 hours ahead of us right now, so it is a little after 2 o'clock.
Yep.
Is that right? 3 o'clock.
Or 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
No, they may be actually further. Maybe 9 hours ahead. Anyway, so the United States can be playing Wales on Monday at 1 o'clock. There are 32 nations in the World Cup. And in the first round, you can tie. You get 3 points for a win, 1 for a tie, and 0 for a loss. And then when it gets into the group stage, you can have. Well, I'm sorry, group stage you can have draw, and the knockout stage,
no draw.
There's penalty kicks.
Yep.
And the crazy thing is Canada, Mexico, and the United States are going to be the hosting countries. It's going to be like a North American World Cup coming up in 2026.
Yes, right.
Which will be absolutely huge. It'll be bigger than having the Olympics in the United States.
Oh, sure.
There are 6 to 8 different stadiums in Qatar that are actually doing this, and it goes into December 18th. And again, they play Wales on Monday, England on the 25th, and then Iran on the 29th. And then they move on in their different stages.
Wait, say it again. When do they play England?
They play England on November 25th.
Interesting. My son will be
So
in
right
clubs
before
there.
right before the holidays, right before Thanksgiving, then Iran on the 29th,
Yep.
and then they get into the next thing, and it goes in December. Brazil's obviously very, very good. France is defending champion.
Yep.
England's going to be good. Argentina's also in the mix. Spain's always good. So there's your tutorial on the World Cup. So sports washing. You know what sports washing is?
I do now because you text me. I didn't before.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't talk about it because to me there's sort of a fine line between branding and sports washing, right?
Yeah.
Is there?
So sports washing is, and I know what sports washing is, but I wanted a kind of a definition.
Yeah.
Sport is loved and played around the world as a giant unifying force, and it's also a multi-billion-dollar industry. By associating certain countries with sports, leaders are seeking to position their country in line with that magic. They want to bask in reflected glory and thus lighten their image, which in most cases is human trafficking or oppressive regimes, horrible human rights. And this has been the year of sports washing because remember we had the Winter Olympics in China at the beginning of the year.
Oh, okay. So this
now we're finding out that they're saying 100, but they're saying it's probably closer to 5,000 people have lost their lives building the stadiums for the World Cup. They were all
for the World Cup.
Or not? Yeah, they were basically brought in as slave labor, immigrants from other countries saying you're going to work. They didn't get paid, and they died building these buildings in order to put on this wonderful soccer event. Sports washing can also be investment in a team or a league, such as state-run Qatar Airways, sponsorship of FC Barcelona, or the Saudis' recent purchase of the English Premier League team, Newcastle United, and of course, this also on the heels of the Live Golf tournament out of the Saudis, which a lot of people actually have a huge issue with.
There was an episode of this in Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
When one of the players was getting recruited, and yeah. Okay, I get you.
So there have been thousands of sports washing incidents. The one that comes to mind most recently, obviously, is the Live Golf tournament, the Qatar and the China thing. We go back to 1936 when Berlin had the Olympics.
Yeah.
This guy named Adolf Hitler, who was the leader of that country.
I see.
We were going to war 4 years later.
What an interesting...
And he spent exorbitant amounts of money, which Germany did not have, to put on this wonderful show. All of their athletes were juicing, and they wanted to put on a great show and show the world that they were one of us. Yeah. Knowing they weren't one of us, it was pure. And of course, Adolf Hitler was the best or the worst, depending on how you look at it, as far as propaganda. So
that's an interesting.
It really is, because sports are the one thing. I actually had some problems with some tennis tournaments not allowing Russians. I think it was in Wimbledon, not allowing some Russian players to play, because it's not them. They're associated with Russia because they're Russian and they love their country. And if my country was doing really stupid, horrible things, I'd have a chance to leave, or would I stay and try to make it better? And I love this country, and people can make their argument that we're doing that now. But I felt horrible for those Russians who wanted to, because it's not. We're politicizing this, and it's not a political thing. They want to play tennis at the highest level, and now they're being told they're not allowed to play because of the Ukrainian invasion. And so what we're doing as the United States and a lot of the Western world countries are saying, we don't believe in their human rights. We're not going to accommodate their way of thinking, their ideologies, and so we're not sending any ambassadors. We're not sending any of our highfalutin ambassadors to go check out the games, because we're not endorsing this particular thing in all your human rights situations, but we're going to play.
Yeah, I know.
Which is kind of like...
Yeah, I know.
Right?
I mean, but you're stuck, but yeah.
And so you don't want to take that away from these athletes who have been... No. Because the World Cup's every 4 years, much like the Olympics, and sometimes you only have one shot at it.
Yeah.
You're lucky if you're in two. 3 is crazy. And so let's back it up just a little bit. When you're talking about different cultures and different regimes and different ideologies, I don't like when we impress or push our ideologies on other countries. We know that democracy is the best way to go, but
we just did. You just did.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, right? Because we know in a world full of democracy, it's a better place to live. People have better.
Yeah.
But if you live in China, they really don't know the difference.
No, but it's
because they don't. Because they've lived under that regime for a long period of time.
China. I mean, like, and I guess it's sort of
in Qatar. You can't be homosexual.
No.
If you're homosexual in Qatar, you're going to go to prison.
So I think I do think it's always arbitrary, but I do think there are some lines that can be crossed. Because I think the democracy thing is really interesting, because democracy is the best. Well, that's what we think.
Yeah, well, whenever we try to press democracy on that, I mean, did we try to do that in Iraq? What happened?
But
did we try to do that in Afghanistan? What happened?
But I think there's a difference. I think that there is a difference. You can speak to a difference, and there it's intertwined. But there's a difference between sort of democracy as a political system and human rights. I know they're intertwined, but I think it's an easier line to draw. So if you're gay and you are at risk of being jailed because you're gay, or if you're a woman who is not wearing the appropriate covering and you can be stoned or burned, I feel like independent of whatever the political structure is, if you are harming humans as a result of it, then this is me, then that's not right.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care whether you're a democracy, monarchy, whatever, but that's not right. And I think that's where you draw the line. It just so happens that in democracies that doesn't happen as much.
So I had a neighbor down the street, the Wilmicks, okay? Mm-hmm. And Jimmy Wilmick was one of my best friends. We were buddies. We hung out together a lot. He's great. We used to have a great time. His family was kind of wild. His father was an alcoholic. His mother was super nice, Wilma, and he had a birthday party. Well, my mom and dad liked the Wilmicks, but didn't necessarily like the way they ran their household.
Okay.
There was a lot of yelling and screaming. Mm-hmm. Didn't really appreciate the way they parented. And so Jimmy had a birthday party. Well, I was told I couldn't go to Jimmy's birthday party, and Jimmy was one of my top 3 buddies. And I was like, why?
Yeah,
and they never really gave me an excuse. They're kind of like, well, that Wilmick family, they're kind of out there a little bit, and we don't really feel comfortable you going down there for the day. And there were going to be other boys in the neighborhood going to his birthday party. So that's what this Qatar, this is what this China, this is what this Live Golf thing is. Because, why are you, I know Jimmy, I go to school with him every day. Why can't I go play with Jimmy on his birthday because you don't like the way they run their family?
Well, because if you're gonna play that line, your family would say, you represent the Currys. You are carrying the Curry badge, and you are wearing the Curry emblem, and this is bigger than you. This is about the Currys, which when we boycotted.
10 years old.
I know. But
all I want to do is go play at birthday.
I know what I'm saying is when we make decisions not to send athletes, it's horrible for the athletes. But it's basically saying we as a country are not going to allow our athletes to represent our brand at this place.
But should the government or ambassadors be the ones to tell the United States men's or women's team that they should not go because
that does not get in politics. No.
And so you allow them now. Certainly for children, parents are going to trump. They're going to go. You're not going. Now I end up going.
Look at you rebel.
No, I didn't go because they said go.
Right.
Have a good time. Be careful. Things get kind of crazy.
Yeah,
and it was within walking distance, and I had a great time. It was fun.
Yeah.
But I don't see any soccer players. I'm sure someone's like, we don't believe in this. We don't think this is correct. But we're here to represent the United States of America, and we're here to play soccer. We're not into the political.
Well, that's where they can.
But a lot of people say you can't separate the two. Well, I say you can.
Well, that's the ambassador piece. Which is a kind of a, I don't know what the word is. It's kind of a vanilla, we're not going to send our ambassadors. Okay, great. Like nobody football.
Like cares. They wanted to go anyway.
Yeah. Well, maybe they did.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe they like soccer. No, I do, and that's what I'm saying. I think that there's this weird fine line between trying to present your company, your country in the most favorable light. I mean, hell, we have this here with Olympics and individuals who are homeless. Where are we going to put the homeless people?
Yeah.
Where are we going to put them? We got to move them over away. We can't have them in the streets.
What if the University of Alabama and the University of Georgia were invited to play a preseason college football game in Saudi Arabia, and they were each going to make $150 million apiece to go? Do you think they'd go? The Chick-fil-A kickoff is in Qatar or in China. Hell, we do. I mean, well, actually, we got the NFL in Germany now for the next 4 years.
Actually, I know the head of communications and marketing for Chick-fil-A. That's Chick-fil-A of all
$500 million.
Yeah,
I mean money.
Yeah.
What? $500 million for Jordan, Alabama, to play the Chick-fil-A preseason game, the first game of the year in Qatar.
There you go.
Are you in?
There you go.
See, the way I look at it is, this is kind of like when the Catholic Church had all the molestation stuff. What do people do? They ran away from the church. And that's the time you run in. It ain't going to change unless you make a difference.
So I think, where I think it's interesting, and was this in China? I'm trying to remember where. Here's where it gets super interesting. If you're going to go as athletes to a place that is controversial because of human rights or other things, and you are going as both athletes and a country, what I mean by that is we are going as American U.S. athletes to show our athletic ability, but also B, what we stand for as a country. This is where it gets, and you saw this in China. Are the athletes free to speak their mind? Thus representing what we believe to be right. So in some ways, it's this weird. You are putting the athlete. Well, you're not put. Look. Here's the other thing. athletes are not just athletes. This is not shut up and play basketball. So athletes have beliefs and thoughts and ideas about this. And, you know, being able to go to a country and speak your mind is a very powerful statement. Now the question becomes on the country side that is, what'd you call it? Now I forgot. Whitewash? Not whitewash.
Sports washing.
Sports washing. If you're sports washing to present yourself in the most favorable light, do you allow any contrary communications?
I kind of come from the respectful standpoint that if I'm invited into someone else's home,
you don't trash on them.
I don't trash on them. If
Yeah.
I'm a Republican and they're a Democrat and they want to start talking about politics, I just kind of step back because I'm in their country, and so you know I don't get into that aspect of it. The other thing is and we talked about the money. You know, LeBron James has been banged up for doing business with China.
Right.
There's been a lot of people that do business with China. We have to do business with China. They're the largest economy outside us in the entire world. And so there's some things where you have to deal with them in some aspects. They make things we need. We make things they need. Mm-hmm. But when you're talking about just pure athletes, I don't know what these people make. Certainly when you're talking about Olympics, they make nothing. They make no money at all. They're just getting over there and they're just performing. They're not part of the money aspect of what this is all about. The live golf thing is huge because of the money. If they weren't offering millions, hundreds of millions of dollars to these golfers, they wouldn't be going over there. It's all about the money, and they've even said as much. Well, I need to provide for my family. This is my one nut. I got $125 million.
Well, you can say the same thing about Olympic athletes or World Cup.
Yeah.
Because even if it's not direct, it's indirect.
My point is by not showing up, it's not going to change China.
No.
Qatar's not changing their laws because unless everyone in the World Cup said, we're not coming.
Well, that's exactly.
Which is never going to happen.
Well, but that's exactly. If there was no World Cup or there was only 3 countries in the World Cup, that is the problem. This is the problem. I mean, it's so interesting. This is the who's on board with it. Yep. Who's willing to... This is a random thought, but I see this. I was just thinking about this. This is travel baseball. This is travel baseball. Every parent who is going, oh, you know, God, it's so much. We're paying so much money, and it's all year round. And this is every parent. This is ridiculous. Okay, who's out? I'm not out. Yeah. But everyone needs to be out in order to change. And that's the thing. It will not happen. You're not going to have every country. In fact, you're not going to have most countries pull out. And so just because, and this is to speak to the worldview on us. Just because we pull out of something now, I'll say it. We're less of a big deal.
Yeah, I'm a seed planter. You know that.
Yes, I know you are. You got to plant a big ass seed.
If I go into and if I go into a situation where I don't like the way things are being run or the way they feel, it's my opportunity. I'm not saying I go in to plant the seed, but it certainly gives me an opportunity to plant the seed. And I think by saying we're not going to be part of your thing because we don't believe in your culture, your ideologies, or your human rights records or anything else, by staying away is not going to change the way they see the world. But you have by us being part of that.
But you have to be able. The problem we run into though is censorship. So by us being a part, again, we have a lot of examples of this in our country. When the NBA allowed players to put whatever they wanted on their jerseys, right? You work for us.
Yep.
This is you work for us, but we understand how important this is. You have not complete, reasonable freedom to say anything you want. Mm-hmm. And people, there were 2 sides. There were people who were up in arms. Oh my God, these athletes are making these political statements, and there are other people who are like, yeah, they're making political statements. Because they're people with ideas. I mean, so I think the problem you run into is if you're going to go visit Qatar and you're going to go play and you're an athlete who personally feels that the human rights issues are a big deal, then you would like to be able to say something, to plant a seed, even if it was appropriate. But you're not going to be able to. It's going to be censored.
This reminds me a little bit of when people are invited to the White House and don't like
and
don't like the president.
Yes.
I've always been under the impression.
Well, it's a little different.
I
think it's a little different.
Well, just go with me here because I love analogies. I had a good friend of mine who hated Bill Clinton. She was a news director for us, Roxanne. A lot of people know Lisa.
She was news director?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Very good at it.
Yes.
And she was not a Bill Clinton person. It was after, of course, the whole Monica Lewinsky thing. She had an opportunity to go to the White House. along with 50 other journalists to cover it. And I said, once in a lifetime situation to go in the White House and actually talk to Bill Clinton, ask him questions. And she did not want to go because she didn't believe in his ideologies. She certainly didn't like the fact that the Monica Lewinsky thing. And she went and she was totally flipped. I'm not saying she would have voted for Bill Clinton. I'm not saying she liked Bill Clinton, but she certainly saw him in a much different light. She said, I certainly see how charismatic he is and how people just kind of fall for him. And she said, and again, she may have been dumbfounded as a news director to be in the White House, to be in something historical. So when you're invited to go to the White House, even if you don't like that particular regime or that particular president of that party, respect for the White House itself.
Yeah.
And for
that's hard to separate because of optics. I get.
So you normally would say, listen, I don't believe in what's going on in D.C. I don't like the wear. I don't like this. I don't like abortion. Blah 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 blah. But as respect for the White House and for the political system we have, which is, despite the fact it's kind of crazy right now, is probably still one of the best in the world. I'm going to show my democracy by going and representing my team, myself, my family, whatever, in a White House setting, and then I'm out. And, I know Steve Kerr's like, screw you, I'm not going, Greg Popovich, blah, 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 blah. But I think it's okay to separate the two, particularly when we're talking about the unification of what sports do for us. Sports are the most important thing in this country for unification, period. Outside natural disasters. Right. When we all have to pull up our bootstraps and help our neighbors, even when we're screaming at them and we flip the middle bird on Tuesday and Wednesday we're helping clean out their basement. That's the sports are the most unifying.
But that's the problem is sports are sports in its purest form, right? This is why we had sport. Yeah. This is the problem is sports have become over generations and generations and hundreds of years. Sports are no longer just sports. A pickup game of basketball in the playground is sport, right? I mean, because I was trying, as you were talking, I was trying to dial it back. We don't even have that at youth sports. Even youth sports now, we got teams being sponsored. You got who's got the nicer uniforms, who's got the best snacks. I mean, I was trying to think of sports in its purest form.
Yeah.
And I think, and then as you level up on that, it's almost impossible to unravel the political part of it. And this is why people will say, I just want my sports. I just want my athletes to just play.
I get it.
And I get it, but I don't agree with it. I don't agree with it because
I think you have to separate the two. I think it's important. I think it's important that we keep them separated. I do think it's impossible to keep them separated, but I think it's important for us to try to keep them separated as much as possible.
Yes, okay.
That's why in the National Football League, they're kicking the shit out of each other, grabbing each other's nutsacks, going after fumbles, and at the end of the game, what they do? Yeah. They hug each other, and it goes, good game. There's sports are the one thing where you can absolutely hate your neighbor and not see him 364 days a year, but on Thanksgiving we're going to my backyard, we're playing a game of pickup football, and it's all good. We hug each other, and then you're gone. Except and then I can hate you again.
Except when the Pistons played the Bulls, and then Isaiah Thomas.
Well, and that's why I think when it goes beyond the lines, it's danger land. It's a horrible situation. You can hate them all you want, but when you play the game, you're playing in a respectful kind of way, and that's where I think sports and politics have to be separated. We have to do the best job we can to actually protect those two identities as two totally different things. I understand that people are upset that we're even representing the U.S. in Qatar, but when it comes down to it,
well, and a
lot of people would say the best way to win is to win the damn tournament and go. See how it doesn't jive.
Also, particularly in soccer, like we have a really hard time. Like that's I think you know what? I think that's the other thing that is unique. This particular sport, like again, I'll say it. I know we're live. The NFL, football is the greatest thing in the world, right? And basketball and baseball is no, it's not. It's not. I hate to tell you, it's not. It is for us. Yeah. It is for us. There is one sport. There is one that is the greatest worldwide sport, and it is soccer. Yeah. And You can debate it all.
Worldwide, certainly.
But that's what I'm saying is, so if you want to make a worldwide statement, like again, when NBA or NFL say we're world champions, come on.
Chick-fil-A Kickoff Bowl, Alabama, Georgia, in China next year.
Is it really? No. I'm telling you, I know.
And listen, these countries are brilliant for doing this because they know it's something we all love.
Well, plus they love, everyone loves Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, it's kind of like having a restaurant with the shittiest food, but you get the best chocolate cake. You're like, I know our food sucks, but you want this chocolate cake, and what are you going to do? You're going to go grab a slice and you're going to run across the street.
Do you know what I saw more of? And you see it all over, but I was just tell you, when I visited my son in England, it's a relatively small town in Oxford, I saw three? I saw 3 Kentucky Fried Chickens.
Oh, yeah.
But you know what he'll tell you? My son told me this. In other countries that, like Kentucky Fried Chicken or McDonald's or Taco Bell, it's not the same. It ain't the same.
No, Pizza Hut in Guatemala uses different ingredients in the pizza. You can get pepperoni and stuff, but because it's a cultural thing. It's not because they're poor. Well, they are, but it's but the crust is different. It doesn't taste.
Well, it's not the same thing. But they love it.
Yeah. Do you need to get your light up?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Also, we'll get to this Pete Davidson story a little bit. I went off on.
We're so good.
Yeah.
I just want to tell you, what you're watching, this is such good, important entertainment.
I know, right?
Infotainment.
It really is.
We are educating.
And I know it's early in the morning. A lot of people can't watch us more than 5 or 6 minutes. But
come back and watch the whole thing.
They do. People come back and watch. Yeah. We don't have a lot of people watching right now, but they come back and watch the whole thing. This Olivia Dunn. Olivia Dunn is an LSU gymnastics girl. I don't know if she's good. She's a junior. She's going into the 2023 season.
Okay.
She has the largest social media following of any college athlete across any sport, male or female. Yeah.
That's interesting.
She has 6.2 million followers on TikTok, 2.3 million followers on Instagram.
Wow.
The 20-year-old at times posts scantily clad photos and videos, which is partly the reason why her brand is so incredibly as successful as it is. If she was just on there posting pictures of her holding a flower or eating a piece of cake or something, but the fact that she's holding a flower while she's got her legs spread up over her head.
She's also a gymnast, so I mean, look, if you wear your...
So she's flexible, so she wants to show flexibility.
If you wear your gymnast uniform...
She reportedly earns around $2 million with various sponsorships such as activewear brand Maori, American Eagle, Planet Fuel. She's also signed to one of the biggest agencies in WME Sports. So, legendary Stanford women's basketball coach Tara Vandiver took issue with how LSU gymnast Olivia Dunn has been earning her big bucks in her name, image, and likeness, the NLI sponsorships. She went on to say, I guess sometimes, by the way, Vanderbilt is a staunch supporter of women's rights. She was inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame. She said, I guess sometimes we have this swinging pendulum where we maybe take 2 steps forward and 1 step back. We're fighting for all the opportunities to compete, to play, to have resources, to have facilities, to have coaches, and all the things that go with Olympic caliber athletes. What Olivia is doing right now is a step back. Because she's using her sex appeal in order to gain fame and fortune. She and I for research issues only, I pulled up some pictures of her today, and she's not nude.
I was going to say, how much worse, and I have not looked.
She doesn't look any different than a sorority girl on a Saturday at Bryant.
Okay, that's what I was going to say. So it's not...
But she plays up to it, and she does...
Yeah.
And again, I've been down this road before. I know over a period of time, come on, you can show a little bit more. The next thing you know, I hope that doesn't happen with her. She's incredibly attractive. Obviously, she's a gymnast. She looks wonderful.
So what's real interesting is I do know, without mentioning names, I do know some female college athletes where this was on an episode of... Sorry. Watching Baywatch. This was on an episode of the Dallas Cowboy Cheerleaders.
Yes.
Where one of the tryouts, one of the women who was trying out, she was good, but they were looking at her social media, and they're like, look, there's nothing horrific, but it doesn't represent the brand, and we would like you to tone it down.
Yes.
And she didn't. It's real interesting in that episode.
As a matter of fact, if you pull up Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders and try to find smut, it's hard to find.
Well, that's why.
If you're part of that organization, now ramping up to it, you could say I tried out and didn't make it, and then you want to start your own Instagram.
Well, this was during. This was why.
Part of that, they protect their brand.
I know. Okay, so I know several female college athletes who, some are under NIL deals, some are not, but they're 20, 21 to 24-year-old women who post stuff on TikTok that, as you said, not any different.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be happy if my daughter was doing it. Although it's let's just say it's 2 to 3 steps more than what I've seen my own daughter post. So again, it's within this range. And they're posting it as college athletes. I can think of 2 situations where the team coach and the team said, we need you to dial that back. We need you to dial that back because who you represent. And I can think of these athletes, they were not wearing school uniforms or anything. It's just, you represent this school, you are known to represent this school, and we don't like that image.
There was an LA anchor recently who had been on television in LA and was very, very good for a long period of time and started doing an OnlyFans page.
Well, and
I know.
I mean, that's like a couple steps, but yeah.
They fired him. They're like, we can't have our anchor posing nude on a male-only site. He was a homosexual posing it. Can't do it.
I know,
and it was helping their numbers.
But I think that's a little bit different. It's a little bit different.
I don't want to see Walter Cronkite in G-strings.
I think it's a little bit different, and I think that where it gets messy is this. I think the school has a right to say or to ask you to dial it back.
Well, they're not. Let's step it back because we're getting too broad here. Let's get more specific. Is this a step back for women's sports? I remember when Norway came out with their curling. Remember that? The curling calendar? The team was broke, had no money, wanted to go to the Olympics, and so they did a nude curling calendar. Sold millions of copies. They had plenty of money. And, of course, the first thing that we think of is, wow, these sexy women. And it brought eyes to the TV. It brought curling to the forefront of sports. I mean, all of a sudden, everyone's wanting to watch curling. And I'm like, why? I didn't even know what the curling was. But it brought notoriety to the sport. There's that really, really fine line between sexualizing our sports. When you're attractive and you look like Olivia Dunn, you don't have to wear scantily clad stuff. You're beautiful. You're awesome. And you're doing gymnastics. You're going to be having your legs all over the place and anything. So if you want to see that, and that's why a lot of people, believe it or not, like to watch gymnastics in the Olympics. Skating is another one. Why in the hell do you think people watch Dancing with the Stars? Why in the hell do you think people watch Dancing with the Stars? It's not because they know how to flip and dance. It's because they're wearing scantily clad stuff and they're flipping them in the air and they're beautiful people.
No, but they also want to see. You want to see the stars. You also want to see the stars. The man, so you want to see people screw up.
A big part of it though is because they're sexy and they're hot. Yeah, you're going to see a Danny Bonaducci in there every once in a while.
Okay, so this is the question. So for the Stanford coach, what should she be doing? Because here is the question. If she didn't do these things, would she not have the NIL deals? Because what I think is really interesting, so think about the NIL deals. It's one thing to post on your own Instagram or social media account sexy, provocative pictures of yourself.
Yeah. I don't know if this is the chicken or the egg. I don't know if she was sexy first and then got the NIL deals, or whether she put herself out there and then all of a sudden the NIL deals started coming. I don't know if she's...
Well, and then you mentioned one of them.
All-American. I don't know how...
You mentioned one of them was pretty mainstream. I can't remember the one company that you mentioned.
Yeah.
See, that's the other
American Eagle.
Yeah. Okay. So this gets super interesting from a corporate standpoint. Do you get to the point where American Eagle...
She's doing TV commercials, too.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's his face? Oh, my God. Bryce.
Yeah.
He's doing Dr. Pepper commercials. He's very good, by the way.
Yeah, he is pretty good.
He has got a good, because it's hard to tell when he's playing because he's very stoic.
Because at this point, the way he's playing, he ain't gonna be playing at the next level.
Yes, right. But so what I think it's super interesting is if you are provocative on social media, and that garners lots of fans, lots of followers, and you happen to be an athlete, and you grab the attention of sponsors.
Yep.
Do you get to a place where you're, whether it's with an American Eagle, I don't know, H&R Block, Whole Foods, whatever, where they start telling you, hey, look, we don't like the way your social media doesn't represent our brand.
Where Vanderveer is coming from is saying it's a step back because you're choosing to use your sexuality to sell your brand and your product. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. If I looked like Olivia Dunn, I'd be a trillionaire. And most guys would say that. If I looked like that dude, I'd be on OnlyFans, I'd be making buku, and they'd be letting it all hang out, right? Here's the deal. And I can only speak for all men because I do every time we're on Facebook. I speak for all men.
This is the Tony Curry, for all men.
Once a woman starts using her sexuality to sell her brand, there ain't no going back. And I'll use Anna Kournikova as an example. And Anna Kournikova, I think, won one. I don't know if she won a major, but she won one tournament and was fairly successful. Had a successful, so she made millions of dollars. But once she did a spread in SI or I forget GQ magazine or Maxim or whatever, all bets are off because they were looked upon more as a sex symbol than as an athlete. And I think what Vanderbilt's saying here is, listen, you're a really good gymnast. And you can win a championship. You can be an All-American. She may already be an All-American. By you going in, and again, you do whatever you want. And she ain't making millions of dollars being an LSU gymnast. She's making millions of dollars by being an LSU gymnast. That is sexy. That's what she's doing.
But it is the case. So see, this is where NIL gets really interesting because.
So once you, all I'm saying is once you start, and I mentioned Holly Saunders. Holly Saunders was a professional golfer in the LPGA. She was on the Golf Channel, very mainstream, straight-laced and she was fun to watch, and she's got a killer body. And all of a sudden, she started getting pretty sexy. She got a big head. They gave her the boot. She went to work for NBC Sports. She pissed them off there. We actually did an interview with her, and she was...
not nice?
No, she wasn't nice. She was a pain in the ass, basically. She's beautiful. She was very good at what she did, but she was just a major pain in the ass. And she decided, okay, my sex appeal is much bigger than anything I could do on television or on a golf course. And so now all she does is just post semi-nude photos on her site, and it's just taken off, and she's making more money than she ever. And that's fine. That's fine if you want to do that. Sex appeal is going to go eventually, but you have a window of opportunity, and she's a beautiful woman. So if that's what you want to do. But if you ever want to be taken seriously again as a journalist, as a reporter, as a sideline reporter, or as a golfer, good luck. Because you've broached that subject, and no one will look at you again at that point. Because there's no one out there that's super hot sexy that ends up being...
You realize what we're only talking about? See, this is... I'm going to go back. This is the patriarchy. Like, listen to what you're saying, which I think is so... We're only talking about women.
Yeah.
Right? Because you could insert everything you've just described. You could say a really hot guy.
Yeah.
A guy with great abs and great physique. And there are that. But, like, somehow, does it... If you're a guy who does that take you out of your ability?
No, there's a double standard.
Yeah, I mean, that's...
And there's nothing that guys can show. We can take our shirt off, that's it. We can't show cleavage.
You can show... You can show what you got.
Yeah.
You can do very provocative poses. Yeah. I find it absolutely fascinating.
But if you have a good-looking guy and a good-looking girl, she's going to have 100 million followers. He's going to have 1 million followers. Because men are more visual and men are creeps and they want to look at pictures of naked women.
Right.
And women, yes, they like to look at good-looking guys, but they're not right there on their phone. First thing in the morning. I mean, you go to CBS Sports, and there's the girl of the day at the bottom of the page. Yeah. Why do you think that is? Because men are visual animals. We got lizard brain, and we love to see, skin. Women don't do that.
So
it's a totally different thing.
You can flip it either way. I mean, I understand what she's saying is that you shouldn't do this because it's sexualizing. We don't want to be seen as sexual. We want to be seen as athletes.
Mm-hmm. And for women's sports. And women's sports movements have been huge in the last 10 to 15 years now. A lot of it has to do with our U.S. women's soccer team.
Yeah.
Megan Rapinoe. We go on and on and on about all these women that are representing women's sports. We used to never have women's basketball on television. Now ESPN has taken that. They have the whole W brand that they're doing, ESPN W. It doesn't do much for me. I'm still going to watch if there's a men's sport, if it's Ball State and Toledo playing, or the championship in NCAA women's basketball, I'm watching the Ball State and Toledo thing.
Dude.
Because
come on, even as a sports guy, you're not watching women's championship?
I'm not because
South Carolina?
No, because the men's competitiveness is better than the women's competitiveness at the men's level.
No, but just the example. I don't like the example.
I don't want to go an entire basketball game and not see one flip and dunk. I don't want to see one flip and dunk.
But you wouldn't watch a championship? The championship. I'm not saying you get really.
No.
That's terrible.
Okay.
That's terrible.
I speak for all men. I'm just telling you. Most guys.
UConn, Mississippi State, UConn. Is it because my daughter plays basketball?
And why do you think those games are on when they are? It's because it's the only damn thing on television.
No.
There's not going to be another basketball game on when the women's championship is because they want to force people to watch that, and that's fine. That's great. They should have their own night. Right. But you know what? In Wimbledon, when's the women's championship?
I don't know.
Saturday.
Yes.
When's the men's?
Friday night.
Sunday.
Yeah.
In women's basketball, when's the championship?
Yeah.
Saturday.
Yeah.
At nighttime.
Yep.
When no one's watching. When's the men's? On Sunday night when everyone's watching.
We saw that. Listen.
It's always women's championship and then men's championship.
Yes.
It's never women's championship. It's never, and that's just the way it is right now. And maybe it'll change as they get bigger. I love women's sports. I think it's super important. I love women's softball. I've gotten into softball a lot. But that's just the way it is. But again, what do you feel like? And when you're when you're very, very attractive and you're very good at what you do, and again, if she is a championship, it's one thing. It's one thing to be really, really sexy and beautiful and be a champion in your sport. And then be noticed for your sexuality because then it works. But if you are a person who's not quite at the apex of your thing.
Yeah, well, this is, okay, so this is where, and I said this was coming. I called this.
Yep.
The NIL piece, which is absolutely fascinating. You know, they talk about it's not really going to be an issue except for the top, whatever, 2%. Because here's where the percentage changes. If you're the best of the, if you're a starter on the team, or you're a superstar on the team, you may get an NIL deal because you're known.
Yep. You may get a deal because your name, Kool-Aid.
Fine. But what if you play, you get playing time, whatever the sport is, but you're not in the top of the team. Mm-hmm. Maybe you're not in the bottom, but you're not. You're okay. You're on the team. You're an okay player. But you know what? You're good looking. You have camera presence. You still get to wear. You're still representing.
The NIL has allowed women and men to an extent the opportunity to make money where they would not have made money before, because Olivia Dunn would not be making $2 million a year without the NIL, because she would have been known just as a very attractive gymnast who, again, I don't know if she's an All-American, I don't know how good she is, she's a junior, but she would have never been recognized at a national level. But because of NIL, someone saw her and saw the opportunity.
Well, and it's the triangulation. See, that's what I think is so interesting.
And I think that's a good thing because she is earning money. I just want to make sure she's 20 years old or 23 years old. Mm-hmm. 23 years old ain't real smart. And it's a money grab. And I get it. I understand it. Because when you're throwing, if I was 23 and someone offered me $3 million to do something stupid, I'm not saying I wouldn't take the opportunity. But you have to understand that you're setting a precedent for your life at this point. And you have opened that sex appeal door.
Well,
people are going to expect more. And there are millions and millions and millions of women that look just like you that could do the same thing. They just don't have the platform to use.
Whoa, but I like to say, but she earned that platform by being a top gymnast.
Absolutely.
So that's where I was saying the triangulation comes.
Absolutely.
It's you do play or are on the team for LSU. Mm-hmm. LSU has a brand. Where it gets really interesting.
And I can tell you something right now. If you told me LSU gymnastics were on TV tonight, I would watch.
Well, of course. Of course.
I would never watch again, but I would watch just because now I know who.
Well, so here's where the pressure happens. You start getting these NIL deals, and it becomes it is a business. You do have responsibilities. You need to shoot social media. You need to do all these things. And I think I called this. If you're a top player at the very top, you got coaches worrying, will it be a distraction and will you fall down on your game? If you're in the middle, is it becoming such that you're taking away your own time to rise up on the team? And then the larger question is, do you even flipping care?
It's a great point.
Not that you don't care about your sport. This is not, but what if you are a really good athlete? You know you could probably be better, but there are people better than you. But where you are, you're making bank.
Where's your passion? Where's your passion? What do you want to do? Do you want to be a professional gymnast or do you want to be a model? Because a lot of people say,
no, but it's not even that far. But now
you can do both.
But you're taking it to an extreme. What I'm saying is you can be a gymnast who is making lots of money through NIL deals and not the best gymnast on the team. You can be the best gymnast on the team, not making any NIL deals. Yeah. Mm-hmm. This is where it becomes it's part of what you do, but it is also it's almost like it's a different skill set.
So we're two guys in our 50s. Yes or no?
We'll take NIL deals.
Is it a step back?
Let's
assume.
I have it on Instagram. I have a picture without my shirt on.
And that's why really attractive actresses who are great actresses are the top. That's why really attractive athletes who win championships are on the top. If you got the best of both worlds, the world is yours for the taking.
Absolutely.
If you're a great actress and you're attractive, but you're not smoking hot, that's great. You got some sex appeal, that's good. But when you're the best at your sport, I use Tom Brady. Talk about men.
Yeah.
Great looking dude, and he's got 7 Super Bowls. He's got the best of both worlds. He's got it all. By the way, he was singing with his kids yesterday. He looked like he was having a good time.
We say that all the time. That's a fundamental human thing. We think physical attraction, again, culturally determined, what attractive is. But as soon as you have physical attraction, whatever it is that you're doing, you're up that much more. And so if you are an amazing athlete and you're physically attractive, that's awesome. You can be the same amazing athlete and not physically attractive. They won't say that you're not a good athlete. You have less deals.
So overall, is this a step back for women's sports? The fact that she is monetizing
I'm
so much
really
of her sexuality?
struggling with it.
I know.
I'm struggling with it.
That's why we're talking about it.
Because there's a difference between, I do say this. God, I shouldn't say this on live. If you're a gymnast, your uniform, we talked about this with, what was it? Who was refusing to wear, or was it the Norwegian volleyball team?
Yeah, they were refusing to wear the teabag things, for the volleyball.
Yeah.
Yep.
So if your sport requires you, or as a part of your uniform, to have relatively more scantily clad uniform, so I don't know, gymnast versus women's soccer. Those two. Are you sexualizing what you're doing? Like if you're just wearing your uniform happens to be...
You may not be sexualizing it, but the spectator can sexualize anything.
Right. Well, you just have to work harder when it's more clothing.
Right. That's why some guys watch women's golf.
You've heard about the whole teaback in, what do you call it? In beach volleyball.
Dude, did you see the Olympic surfboarding?
Oh, yeah.
Holy crap.
Because, you know what the argument is? And it isn't, listen, I know volleyball.
And I know a lot of women are like, why are you guys going to sexualize everything? It's just,
No, but they'll tell you why they do it. They'll tell you why they do it. They'll tell you in both surfing and in beach volleyball.
It's aerodynamics, and you
want it's easier to get sand out.
Yeah, well, yeah.
No, it is, and in surfing, it's because it's gonna hike up anyway.
Yeah.
So it just stays there. Mm-hmm. Talk to it. That's what it is.
Yeah. When ABC Sports has to blur out the top of a woman's bikini bottoms live on television, they're like, whatever. I'm here to play volleyball. This is what I wear.
That's right.
And this is what makes me perform best.
Yes.
You guys need to get over it. There's some things you just,
Well, see, and that's the sexualization part. That's where, as much as I understand what the standards are saying.
I hate that men are so creepy. Sometimes.
Well, yeah. We can't, we literally can't say if this is what they choose to wear for. And we're talking about flipping sports.
Yeah.
Like, we're not talking about just standing there. We're saying this is what they choose to perform in. For all the reasons that they'll give you, and we can't get beyond ourselves.
You know one thing we never seen?
Huh?
We haven't sexualized politics yet.
Yeah.
We came close.
We have.
We came close with Sarah Palin.
No. We. Oh God.
I would love to see.
No. Cortez. She got. Yeah. She got hammered because by some politician of some on an opposing party about what she was wearing.
Yeah.
About what she was. Oh, you're gonna listen.
Well, Fetterman's wearing hoodies, so I mean, who cares?
Fetterman's he looks like Jesse Ventura.
He's a mess. He looks so uncomfortable, and I don't know if it's the stroke or not, but he looks so uncomfortable up there. Anyway, if we had a woman.
We do. We have some beautiful women in politics.
Not many. Let's be honest, not many. I'm talking about a 35-year-old. I'm not talking about Katie Britt, who's a very attractive woman. But I'm talking about a woman who uses her sexuality to get votes. Would it work?
Oh, of course. Look how dumbass men.
I mean, put it out there. You lose
the women's vote.
Okay.
Well, that's the problem.
But you get every one of the men's votes.
That's the problem.
You get every one of the
I don't know what the political consultants would say. It's a numbers game. It's a total numbers game. It's risky.
If Pamela Anderson was actually smart.
Jeez.
Let's use Jenna McCarthy, because she's a pretty brilliant woman. Jenna McCarthy decided to run for politics, I'll bet you she would have a major office within 5 years.
Yeah.
If she put it out.
But you see what you said? Do you see what you said?
No,
she's
I don't.
Smart.
Yeah. But she'd get a ton of votes just because of her look. Is what I'm saying.
Yes.
Which is sad.
But she wouldn't get enough of them just because of her looks. She'd have to say the right thing. That's politics. It
depends on whether she'd follow me back. If she followed me, she'd get my vote.
I mean, nah.
All right, speaking of good-looking ladies, Emily Ratajkowski.
Your phone, I mean, by the way, our studio clock, I'm just making sure. Yeah. Okay, good, we're good. I always like to make sure that we're not about to run over.
We're in the process of a move, so things are
because we're about to be on TV, so just making sure. You're good. You got
9:35 this morning. We'll be on Fox 6, so we have no clue what we're talking about. So
I just got hot off the press.
Sports washing?
Nope. Gratitude, not attitude.
Oh, good. That's the one I came and see.
That's such a Tony Curry thing.
I know. Gratitude, not attitude. Yeah, kids these days are so stinking spoiled.
No matter what your situation, this is from Jeremy, our producer, no matter what your situation, there's someone who has it worse. Our definition of poor or low income in the U.S. would make us rich in some countries.
Yes.
Lower third is going to be an attitude, ... of gratitude.
Attitude of gratitude. I love that.
That's such a, because y'all are both radio guys. Yeah. You could just keep saying that in like 50 different.
It's wax and stacks of wax in a house pumping water.
Can you say give us attitude of gratitude in radio, just radio.
It's gratitude and not attitude on Tony Curry Radio.
That's great. We're gonna just do that for the segment.
This Pete Davidson thing is amazing and I love it, but I'm feeling for the guy.
You feel for him? He's got issues.
He's got issues. Did you know his father was killed in 9/11?
No.
His dad was a firefighter and was killed going up the stairs in 9/11.
Wow, I did not know that.
He's got a lot of trauma in his life.
Yeah.
I will say this.
Yeah.
I don't know what Pete's got below deck. I know women love men with a great sense of humor. That is, she's very interesting, or she has a great personality.
Yeah.
Men. And listen, I got a face for radio. If he was working at McDonald's, he wouldn't get a date until 2036.
No, he doesn't. Yeah.
But because he's been on Saturday Night for 8 years,
talent.
because he's funny, he's talented, and he seems to be pretty self-assured of himself. He's got. Well, we think he's self-assured of himself. No. When you see him,
I'm a psychologist. No.
Until you get to know him, which is what I think Kim Kardashian did.
Yeah.
I think his appeal. Yeah. I thought, wow, he seems to be very assured of himself. He looks a little different. He's a little weird. Yep. He's pasty white. He doesn't shave, and that's kind of because he's so confident in himself. And then you get to know him a little bit, and maybe he cries in front of you, and all of a sudden you're like, whoa, this ain't what I thought. Because that sense of humor and that self-confidence, or what we think is self-confidence, will get you only so far in a relationship until you realize who the person. And I'm not saying he's not a hell of a great guy. I'm not saying he's not a great catch. But he has gone out with some of the most beautiful women in Hollywood. Now, again, I don't know if it's below deck. I don't know if it's because
or curiosity.
Yeah.
Curiosity. And
because if he's going out with all these good-looking, it's Roy McIlroy. Roy McIlroy is a goofy-looking golfer. Yeah. And he's gone out with some of the hottest women. Now, I've heard some things about, he's got quite the tee box, let's put it that way. Don't tell me size doesn't matter. It'll get you. But it won't get you all the way, but it'll certainly open the door. Yeah. All right? I mean, literally open the door. I mean, the door opens like 3 feet before he actually gets to the door. The door just props itself open. He can use it as a doorstop if he wants to, and walk out of the car and come back in and not miss a beat, right? So
I bet he's got a lot of gratitude.
So I don't know. Yeah. God's got a sense of humor. All right, I'm going to make you ugly as sin, but I'm going to have you on like a horse, I don't know if that's the thing with Pete Davidson, but I see this. He will date her for about 3 or 4 months and it will fall apart. Of course, right?
Of course.
And it's like you're better off than dating Emily Ratajkowski and not dating anybody. Don't get me wrong. And he'll bet her and he slept with Kim Kardashian and then it won't work. I feel for him though because I think he's the kind of guy that falls in love with them much sooner than they fall in love with him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's going to continually get crushed over and over again until he finally finds a woman who's not a hot celebrity. She may be hot. Yeah, but she may be attractive.
But also, yes, but
he's going to get his feelings hurt a lot. No, and I hate it for him. And I think because of that, he may be one of the most bankable endorsement people I've ever seen. He's doing more vitamin water, Taco Bell commercials because he's a guy that doesn't look like celebrities.
Yeah.
He's funny. And we love that, and he's come from some trauma, and he is one of the most bankable guys. I would buy anything he'd sell.
Well, because that's exactly it. I mean, he's not Chris.
And we root for him. We're like,
he's not right. Chris, you look at my man crush on Chris Hemsworth. And Chris Hemsworth, you look at him and you're like, well, of course he's gonna drink vitamin water. Of course, I can never be like. The thing about Pete Davidson, and he's talked about it. So the psychologist part of me, he's had traumas, he's been in therapy, he's had some significant psychiatric issues that he's talked about.
Yep.
Those things, I hope that they're well managed, and I hope that he continues to work on himself, just like I hope everybody does. But when you know that to be the case, and then you see him with these different women, and you see it not working out, and this is the get to know you piece. Mm-hmm. How bad are the problems and we all have problems, but some of us have worse problems when it comes from a psychological way. How bad is he? Yeah. And I'm not talking crazy or psychotic, but maybe he's got insecurity issues, insecure attachments. I think he's bipolar or something like those things. Once you get past the allure and the hot, hell, look at Kim Kardashian and Kanye. Kanye is a flipping psychiatric mess.
Yeah.
And so she fell in love with him for some reason or whatever, and maybe he was great. But when you've got psychiatric problems, if they're not well managed, then like a lot of health problems, it totally takes its toll on the relationship, particularly early in the relationship.
And we're not even saying that his psychiatric part is at play here. Say he is good, but he's a human being.
Well, yeah.
Maybe, he's not always funny. He's not always going to be that guy. He does have emotional things that we all go through. He lives life on life terms, and sometimes
that's a good point.
Just doesn't work out. And the fact that my problem is he keeps
Right.
So he's a celebrity, and so there's going to be paparazzi around him everywhere he goes. I'd like to see him get in a relationship with someone that we don't know, and that we don't see all the time.
Right. So
they're wearing matching clothes, so obviously they know that people are taking pictures.
No, that's a good point.
And maybe he knows what the hell he's doing. Maybe this is a pure endorsement situation where he wants to be seen with these beautiful. I don't know, but he's obviously got this allure, and he's a funny guy, and I think the guy's great. I mean, I love my.
Got circles under his eyes.
Huge circles under his eyes. He
looks
unwell. Again, if he was working up at McDonald's, you wouldn't look at him twice.
He looks a little creepy. Like creepy. Yeah. Like not creepy like perv creepy, but just like...
I know.
Like funny looking...
He's perfect for Saturday Night Live. That's what they have on that show.
That is true.
Look at the people. You don't have to be good.
Well, no. They have good looking people on Saturday Night Live. There are. Yeah.
Who?
The one you were looking at. Victoria, what's her face?
She wasn't good looking.
No, but they got a array. They have
Victoria Jackson. I mean, she was attractive, but she wasn't like hot.
No. But
Sherry O'Terry, maybe?
Who?
Sherry O'Terry, maybe a little bit. Will Ferrell ain't good looking.
No.
Eddie Murphy, maybe.
Well, yeah.
Joe Piscopo? No.
Yeah.
There aren't many good looking
people. No, there's not. Okay, fine.
No, because ugly people are funny.
Well, no. But there's good looking people who are funny.
Not many.
Yeah, I'm going to pull her up. Her name's Eliza. I'll pull her up. Okay.
Well, there's a lot more attractive women comedians there are.
Well, we go back to the same thing because men, look at us.
Yeah, but when you
we're slumpy.
What is I thought for a while Amy Schumer. When I saw Trainwreck, I was like, she's kind of hot, and now she's kind of
No.
All right, today is also National Unfriend Day on Facebook. By the way, you get to have 5,000 friends. I was up to 5,000. People are like, "Wow, you got a lot of friends." I don't know half of them because I'm kind of this. If they follow me, I follow them back kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But today's the day we're supposed to go through our Facebook page, and if you don't know. If I have more than 50 mutual friends, I will follow you. If I don't, and obviously it's just a picture of skin, I'm not going to follow you. I hate that. And then then they message you, "Hi, how are you? What do you do for a living? Where are you living?" I'm like, leave me alone. What are you doing? Well,
she's a comedian.
Who is it?
She's great. Eliza Schlesinger.
Oh, okay.
Oh, she's hysterical.
Yep.
So funny, so great. Yeah, I get all the time, by the way, you're my best friend in the world, and I get popped up all the time,
By my mutual friends?
Yeah, and I'll get ones, I'll be like, and then they have the little circle underneath the mutual friends, I'm like, oh, that's one of Tony's. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I don't know. If it's one of Jules, I immediately say yes. Yours, I gotta go check out a little bit.
Yeah, I gotta check mine out too.
Yeah, because you're like, you speak for all men and you're a friend to all the friends.
There was some gal on Twitter that popped up on my feed that I did not follow. I don't know why it showed up on my feed.
Yeah.
I guess she hashtagged me or tagged me on it. And she was an advocate for special needs and deaf individuals. I thought, oh, this is nice.
Yes.
And so I followed her. I thought this was nice.
Yes.
She had 70,000 followers. I thought this is nice.
This
and so
is
I followed her. And so
Porn
something else popped up. That was it was a sexual, my boob sweat is bad today or something like that. And I was like, and so I clicked on it and then I went back through her feed and I was like, oh my gosh, it was just, it was nasty. I'm like,
Did you unfollow her?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, good to you. Look at you with your.
And again, I don't know if she was using special needs, and she's deaf. She tells people that she's deaf or anything.
Okay, so she's deaf.
Yeah, but I just. But I mean, ultimately, I want to see some good content. I don't need these women that are super hot.
Yeah.
That post these pictures up here in the car with their cleavage hanging out while they're in the drive.
But you know why? Because we're so many years past the Sears catalog. Because you can get that anywhere.
And
now.
all they do is.
And you can't up that. So you see where you're going.
It looks like the crust of my pie is too brittle, and it's getting 1,000 retweets, and it's a picture of her leaning over her pie, and I'm like, seriously, guys, are we such losers that we have to retweet that?
Yes.
And all she does is post like 5 or 6 things a day, one line.
Yes.
Wow, the sun is hot today. I feel like I'm standing on it. With a smiley face. Wow, that's what she posted yesterday. Wow, the sun is hot. I feel like I'm standing on it with a smiley face. And she gets 1,000 retweets and 1,500 relay. I'm like, why?
You should post
It wasn't
that.
even a picture.
Why don't you post that?
Shit.
You're absolutely right.
I posted something yesterday I thought you were going to blow me up on.
What'd you post?
I don't know. It was something kind of goofy. There was a picture of something.
You have to be careful with that.
No, it was so clean. It was disgusting is what it was.
I mean,
it was a picture of my cat or something. It was so clean. It was disgusting.
Yeah, but if
I felt bad posting it. I was like, people are going to look at me going, what the hell are you doing? It was a Josh Klapow thing.
Turn that frown upside down kind of thing?
Yeah.
You know?
By the way,
choose joy.
I'm going to blow you up.
What?
And I can only bring this up because you got a lot of mentions on it. But the whole lines on your face thing was like,
oh, so great. That was so great.
For a minute, I was like, I don't know who he is.
They tell the whole story.
Do you know Josh Klapow? I don't know. Did you see the Instagram post about the lines on the face that went 4 pages? Did you see that part?
Yeah, that's great.
The lines on his face.
But you know.
From his mental, what is it called? Mental corpse. What's it called? Mental what? What's it called?
Mental Drive.
Mental Drive.
Mental Drive.
Go to Mental Drive.
On Instagram Mental Drive.
No, you already got 500,000 followers.
No, but
you post shit about your face.
So you know what's interesting? That's a really good example. Now listen, really good example because I had posted when I was on vacation with Jules. I had posted a picture of myself with the long thing about sort of aging and lines on my face.
Really long, yeah.
Yeah, it was really long, but it was a good picture of me. I looked good. But I had lines on my face.
And of course, you didn't have a shirt on.
Of course not. I didn't. So listen. So I posted that, and that was a long time. That was a little while ago.
You're Chris Hemsworth.
So it got listen.
You're Olivia Dunn.
So it got So on Mental Drive, they reposted the same quote. The lines on my face tell my story, just as words with my same explanation.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you a question.
And then we changed it to put me with no shirt on.
Yeah.
And guess what happened?
Yeah, you got a lot of followers.
Yes. Yes.
By a bunch of gay men. And
no, because it was the lines on my face.
Well, then why did you have to have a shirt off?
Because it gets more fun. Because people want to see more
lines on your chest. Mm-hmm. All right, so you are a well-known psychologist.
Yes.
You've worked at UAB. You're known around the country. You've been on the Weather Channel, GQ Magazine. You've done stuff in South Africa. You've been all over the place.
China, too.
If you weren't married, because Jules would bust your balls for it, and you started posting pictures of you shirtless with small shorts on in a gym doing squats. Squats are burning today, baby.
Yes.
Look at the guns that came out of the tank today.
I wouldn't.
No, I know you wouldn't.
I mean,
but if you did.
Oh, okay.
And you put it on your mental encapsulation site there. Mental corpse.
Mental Drive. Follow us.
Would that be a step back for psychology?
Yeah. So listen. So yes, and I have pushed.
Even if it had a psychological overtone.
Yes. It would.
The body needs to be as strong as the mind, and you're sitting there in G-string.
No. I have gone down this route with my Mental Drive initiative on social media because I am very passionate about what is said, the words that are said, whether they're accurate or not, the description. I don't like posting anything or saying things that I know to be not true. Mm-hmm. And granted, a lot of it is inspirational, so there's a lot of, I know. But I'm going to tell you...
Inspirational.
What is? There's inspirational stuff.
It inspired me.
It's inspiring.
Click to the next picture, yeah.
But there have been both posts that the company that I'm working with have suggested, and they are wonderful because they allow, I have complete right. Yeah, no, I do. Well, they've put stuff up, and I'm like, no, either A, it's not true, like just think your way to success. That's bullshit. You can't just think your way to success.
Fake it till you make it, yeah.
Yeah, fake it till you make it. I hate, right? No, we cannot post that because that does not work that way. Or they've posted or wanted me to post stuff that was, shirtless or whatever. And I'm like, I can't. Like, I can't. I can't. So where's the line drawn? Well, I happen to be on vacation. Mm-hmm. I took a selfie, which
you take so many vacations so you could post shirtless pictures?
Although you can write them off, did you? But I took a selfie you could see the wrinkles on my face. I mean, I'm 54 years old.
I couldn't get past your nipples. I never looked at your face.
Well, stop looking at it. But that's what I'm saying. I was like, you know what? This is okay.
You knew exactly what you were doing.
Yeah, but it's look. And here's the other thing. And I'll say,
does that make you feel? Does that bother you at all?
What?
To know that you're going to get more likes and more clicks on a picture because you're shirtless when it has nothing to do with your chest? Josh?
Yeah, a little bit, but
I love this.
No.
I love this so much.
So I'll tell you what. Here's where the line is.
Did Jules see it?
She don't look at any of this stuff. She hates.
Well, she would hate.
I mean, she would not.
Listen, I'm not. I get it.
No, you know who?
This is a living done.
No. But you know who are my quality control? My kids. They're literally. I'll from both my kids. Yeah. They'll be like, take that down right now. Yeah. They're like, you cannot do that. Do not put that up there. Not because it's goofy, but like, Dad, you can't do that. But I do have this thing. Psychologists get a bad rap. There are a lot of bad psychologists. There are a lot of good psychologists. But there's a lot of good psychologists who get a bad rap because people assume if you're a psychologist, A, you're weird, B, you're a nerd, you don't talk much, you don't do anything else other than help people with their problems and talk like this. And my entire career, including the work that I do on media, not social media, have always wanted to portray that who I am, which is I am a shrink. And I don't talk like that. And I do drop F-bombs sometimes when it's appropriate. And I do dress well, and I am in good shape. Just like lots of, and so some of it is this line between, getting more follows, whatever, but also saying, this is a psychologist. Dude, you've seen me. I wear T-shirts.
Yeah, you wear shirts. You don't go topless.
I can, but I won't, except for that one.
When you
follow me at Mental Drive. That's Mental Drive on Instagram.
You should put this mental coffin up on OnlyFans. Put mental corpse up.
I think they're calling us from WBRC.
Okay, we gotta go.
Oh, all right, crap, they are.
We're on Fox 6 in just a few minutes here at 9:35 this morning. Check out Fox 6 to see the Kurre and Klapow show. We'll be talking about gratitude, not attitude. And ego means edging God out.
That's good.
You like that?
Can I use that today?
Yeah, only if you're shirtless. You should put an EGO across your nipples and post that on Mental Corpse. That'd be hilarious. I love it.
It's not.
That would be great.
That's Mental Drive on Instagram. And on Facebook.
Mental Drive, go to JCPenney's, get yourself a damn shirt.
When you're done following, take you.
Ooh, David Hasselhoff looks good.
You missed the whole thing. You see that? That's before Manscaping.
Too engaged.
That's what you missed his whole concert.
I was
series.
Opie, on time, prepared, and engaged. All right, have a great day, and thanks for watching Kurre and Klapow.
The following is a special presentation of Tony Kurre Radio.